Welcome to Apples Grow in the South. All right. Let's pick up from where we left off, right? We talked about why we moved, or why we made the decision to move, rather. And hey, why Georgia? Here we go. Let's jump into it. So, end of 2020 happened, and I was like, we're all on the same page, and we're like, okay, we moving. We moving, yay. And now we're starting to tell our friends and family that we will be moving by the end of 2021. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. Yeah, I'm getting a little carried away. So every time we met with our COVID pod, that's what we're calling our friends, our COVID pod, our circle, because that's what we were, communicating, chilling, relaxing with that whole 2020. We all started to talk about our dreams, our goals, and our dreams and goals rapidly started to change and evolve during 2020. Okay. I think that's the most open our friend group became. And we grew to love each other even more. And that's when we made the announcement at the end of 2020 at that Christmas gathering that we are planning to move in come 2021. Now, nobody believed us. They're like, yeah, y'all gonna move, y'all ain't going nowhere. Ugh. Okay, that's what y'all think. Um, we I started looking at homes because I was traveling prior to that and making connections in Florida. I was looking at homes. We started looking in Fort Lauderdale first. Then I realized that I liked Palm Beach. West Palm Beach is so beautiful. Oh my God, I love sitting right there. I think the name of the little bar I like to go to is called Bradley's. It's right across as the marina, and when you sit out on the deck area or the patio area, you're looking right across the street at all the yachts pulling up, and walking along that strip is so relaxing, so cool. It's such a different atmosphere. It's such a vibe. Driving around that downtown area close to, I think the Hilton is right there. It was like Okeechobee or something like that. That's to tell you guys how many times I've been there, because they started to develop this little area called West Lake. Okay, it's a Mentos community, and I was introduced to that community by my mentor. So I traveled there multiple times. Did from when they first broke ground. She was one of the first buyers in that community. So my goal at that time was I'm gonna sell some homes over here, which is what I did. Anyway, that's a different story, different time. And I was watching the change and the growth in the area, and I was like, "Hey, babe, guess what? Dun dun dun. Let's move to West Palm Beach. Here's the reason why." I pulled out the brochure that they gave me. Shout out to Mentos. They gave me this really awesome brochure that broke down the different models home, the styles of the home. That's when I was introduced to a flex room or a home office. There was one home in particular that I they just knocked it out the park with. And during 2019, before COVID, my girlfriends and I, we went down and we did a whole tour. And I remember walking around and we were like, oh my God, this is awesome. Pool in the back. Owner's suite overlooked the pool. It was like its own wing. The owner's suite closet was chef's kiss. Oh my God. Marble floors, the lanai backed up to the lake. It was just, now, mind y'all, these homes were starting at 250,000 dollars. And I was like, yes, we can do this. This is what I'm planning for. This is the goal. Whether or not you come with me, we going to West Palm Beach. Okay. Of course, now those homes that started at 250,000 is maybe more so like 600,000 or more, right? But nonetheless, that was the idea in my mind. So we started looking at those homes, started looking at Orlando. Of course, Orlando price range was similar to that in the twos at the time. And then after COVID happened, I remember sitting there watching these home prices just rapidly, just boom, 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 boom over the summer of 2020. And I was like, damn, we're gonna be priced out, right? Um, but yeah, that's what we're looking at. So Uh, Based on our plan and our goals, I was like, we're going to start looking come January, which is what we started doing. You're going to put in for a transfer, and by the time they approved your transfer, it will be maybe like June, July, right? We could take the summer to look for a house, and then we can move right on time for the kids to start school. That is not what happened. That is not how it went down. And at the time, I had a lease. We both had lease vehicles. But like I said, that's not how it happened. That's not how it went down. Um, so we, I think I got COVID for the first time in January, February, around there. And the story behind how I came down with COVID, he gonna have to tell you because he's the one that brought it home. I just knew something was wrong with him. But anyway, got COVID for the first time, and my kids had the whole house had it. He infected the whole house. He was a contagion. Anyway, I remember I had it the worst out of everybody in the house. After 2 days, they were good. But me, every muscle ache, everything. Oh my God. I was the shortness of breath, everything that you saw on the news that everyone was getting, I got it. I got every freaking symptom of COVID, okay? And I remember we couldn't even go outside because New York had us on a lockdown. And then on top of that, in the middle of this COVID thing that I'm going through, it snowed. We were locked into the house. Now, that's when we knew who our real friends were because we had quite a few friends that came over and dropped off food. They ain't coming to our house. They dropped it off at the step, but still, that's when we knew who our friends were. They checked in us every day, checked in on us, making sure it was okay. And so did the great Department of Health of New York City because they tracked the shit out of us. Make sure we wasn't outside, call us and ask if we wanted somebody to come and help us with food shopping. But what got me is that we were snowed in, and I'm like, I can't even go outside to get fresh air or walk up the street. And that was it. Y'all, that was the last straw. I was like, yo, if anything like this should ever happen again, where we got COVID, we locked in the house, I want to be someplace where we got a backyard where I can walk up and down outside, where I got a lot of space, where my neighbors ain't bothering me, or I could walk up and down the street and not have to worry. Like, this is real life. Like, I can't believe this is crazy. And at the time, the kids were we were still doing remote learning. So I was just like, yeah, I'm over this. And that's when we really started putting metal to the pedal. I got an accepted offer. This is how that week went. Accepted offer on a property from one of my customers because that was Valentine's Day that I got the call. Then the next day, I was in the dealership looking at cars because it was coming down on time for me to renew my lease. So I was just looking at the different cars. This is February. May is when my lease is going to be up. So I was looking around at different cars. That's another story too, because I need to tell you about the economics of car and what changed my perspective. And then, he came home and he was like, hey, they opened up the slots for transfers. I don't understand what that means. Break it down for me. They opened up where they give you like slots for you to select the cities where they're Delta hubs where you want to do a transfer. Now, mind you, when you do these transfers, you get to keep the same pay you have now. And you can make the transfer. So I'm like, cool. I've already been making my connections in Florida. I already started telling people that I was relocating long before I even thought about relocating. Okay. I was already manifesting this, speaking this into being. Cool. That's not a problem. We could relocate. I get my license. I think I bought my online course for my Florida license, started taking the licensing courses, and he put in, I'm going to give you all the brackets. Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Georgia. He says, there's another slot on there. What else do you want me to put? I said, scratch the slots. Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, if it's possible. He's like, no, that's not a hub. I said, where the hub's in? He says, Tampa. I said, how close is Tampa to West Palm Beach? And he was like, oh, all the way on the other side. I was like, okay. What else is closer? Orlando. How long you think that drive is? Maybe we could do like a little short-term rental. You could do like a room rental there, and you could drive home on the weekends. How does that sound? So that was our mindset. That was how we started to plan, right? So we started looking at homes in Orlando because Orlando wasn't on our hit list before. So we did Orlando, we did Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and I told him to write Orlando in there, even though it's not a hub, and then Georgia. Anyways, that was 1 week. I think that was a Thursday or Friday he did that. That week I went to where the heck did I go? We went to, oh yeah, this is when I got disappointed by Jaguar. So I went to the Jaguar dealership to look at the Jaguars, and while I was there I looked at the Discovery, the Land Rovers, the Range Rovers, and again I was disappointed. Not financially disappointed, y'all. I was disappointed because I felt like this was some bullshit that they was trying to sell me. But anyway, another story. And I was like, maybe I should just stay with Buick because I like the fact that I get everything that I want, my heated seats, all of that stuff, and I pay a fraction of the price. Like I had all my amenities. Everybody had their own climate. My back seats even slide all the way back, right? To give my kids extra legroom. So even though my car looks small, it wasn't tight at all because the fact that it gave the back seats adjusted as well. Everybody's other seats, everybody had their own climate control. Everybody had heated seats. So I wasn't trying to give that up just to pay more, just to say that I got a Range Rover, a Land Rover, or whatever the fuck y'all was trying to do, right? So we went to Buick, and he went with me, and we were looking at the new Buick models. And I remember we were both sitting there. We were going over the numbers. His phone rang, and he goes, give me a minute. He walked out, and I started to look over numbers. I kid you guys not. I had the pen in my hand, getting ready to sign my name, and he walked back in. He was like, stop. He was like, did you sign it? I was like, nah. He was like, before you sign, I need to have a conversation with you. I said, okay, cool. Let's go. We walked out. He was like, they called me. That's okay. They who? Delta called me. Okay, cool. For Fort Lauderdale. I said, yay, we're going to Florida. He was like, hold up, wait. I said, okay. I got to go in 2 weeks. I said, what? He was like, we got to go in 2 weeks. I said, oh, okay. We could do this. Called up my girlfriend that was in Florida and started asking her what are the prices looking like for rentals in Florida, because in Fort Lauderdale, because again, I wasn't planning on renting. We're planning on buying. Because it was happening so fast. Now we got to rent. And I went back to the guy. I was like, we'll be back. Let's hold off on signing. We'll be back. Y'all, I done forgot that I put down payment on this car. All right. I'm going to tell you how much I forgot. I forgot. We walked out of there. I forgot I put down payment. I didn't get that money back until 2 years later. Boop. That check came in the mail. I was like, oh, shit. I forgot that I did a down payment for this car. Oh. Anyways, we walked out of there. We left. And we were like, oh, shit. This is happening. This is crazy. And it got so real, so fast, so quick. After we slept on it and we started looking at the numbers, he was like, nah, I am not leaving New York, paying New York prices to go down to Florida to pay Florida prices. He was like, maybe this ain't the time. Maybe we should keep to our timeline, and I'm going to call them and tell them that we're going to decline. My heart dropped, y'all. My heart, seriously sunk because I wanted it so bad. And yeah, so that's what happened with that. And he declined the offer, and now I'm disappointed and moping around. But I had to talk myself up, pep myself up, and say, all right, back to work, back to the grind. And then a couple of days later was when we got hit with that email from the Board of Ed from New York saying that we now have the options for the kids to go back to in-person learning, or we reserve the right to keep them on remote learning. And then he got another call. Saying that, hey, if you still want to do a transfer, we have some slots open in Atlanta. Y'all, I wanted to ball. I was like, hell no, I ain't moving to Atlanta. I'm not going. I have my prejudices why. It had nothing to based on any real experience. It's just based on the little part that I saw when I visited. And when I say little part, I mean minuscule part. And me not knowing that Atlanta is Atlanta and those other places in Atlanta. So now I want to talk to people and say, when they talk about different places, I'm like, that ain't Atlanta. That's Metro Atlanta. But it ain't Fulton County and it's not Atlanta. Okay? Atlanta is like the borough of Manhattan and then the other places around it, but yeah, we'll get into all of that. But yeah, that ain't Atlanta. But that little part, I was so mad. But we sat down, we talked about it. I was like, all right, I'm going to give it 2 years because in my mind, that's how long it takes for me to have to renew my real estate license. I'm going to retain my New York license. I'm going to apply for reciprocity and apply for my Georgia license. And we're going to do this. And if I'm giving you 2 years, if I don't like it, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm over. Because that's not what I want. That's not where I want to be. We're going to keep the kids in remote. This was maybe the beginning of March when all of this the dust is finally settling from the decision we made. And now he has to find a place to stay. And we got to find a house. Now the clock is ticking because he has to report to work by April 1st. And I'm still in New York until June when the kids get out of school. That is the plan. That's not what happened, y'all. That is far from what happened. After a couple back and forth trips, me staying in New York, looking for homes while I was there. So here's my real estate tip. Ready? Make sure that the agent that you have working for you knows your vision and your dreams and your goals. What do I mean? I mean, make sure that they understand your lifestyle, your proximity to your job, your needs, and what your cultural morals are. And make sure that it aligns with your vision of what you want your home to be. I was not yet licensed in Georgia, but at the same time, I'm the one that's looking for homes, send them to the realtor that we were working with that was recommended by someone. And I refrained from telling her I was a realtor on purpose because I didn't want to come off sounding like an asshole, and I knew nothing about the region and the local market. I said I'm going to leave it to that professional, and I'm giving her myself as a referral. So basically I referred myself to her on this deal. Real estate talk, people who understand. Cool. My thing, I gave my husband a couple notes. Everybody's different. For me personally, this is what I want. When you go to look at these homes, make sure that there's uniformity in the neighborhood. Make sure there's no cars, no more than 3 or 4 cars in the driveway. All right. I have my personal reasons why I don't want no more than 3 or 4 cars in the driveway. Make sure no one has a car, because of where we're coming from in Queens, that's blocking anyone's driveway or that's up on cinder blocks, meaning that they're being worked on. Okay? Make sure that none of our neighbors have any boats. Again, I lived in Queens. Queens are very diverse. And the reason why I didn't want none of my neighbors having no boats, because I had a neighbor that had a boat that parked his goddamn boat on the block for over 6 months, taking up 5 parking spots and blocking people's driveways. And I say blocking people's driveway because he was blocking our driveway, nigga. Anyway, we're going to bleep that out. All right. So those were just, based on what has happened and transpired. Those were my deal breakers. And a couple of the things that I told him to look at as well. But that's neither here nor there. That's what we're looking at. I would send this woman the homes that I wanted him to see. When he went to the homes, it is not what I sent her. So I called her up and I said, hey, I forgot her name. Why are you showing my husband these homes? This is not what we talked about. This is not the homes I sent you. She would come back to me with some excuses of why she took him to go see these other homes. And I said, let me tell you something right now. What I sent to you, please best believe that I've already vetted it and know that it's available. So do not tell me that they're not available. Do not take him to go see homes that you think we should have. And don't take him and put him in areas that you think we should have. I sent you specific areas based on my needs from my family for certain school districts, proximity to jobs. All right. And based on that, this is what I want you to do. She wasn't listening. I fired her. I said, fuck it. That's when I realized that I don't really need her, because that's my job anyway. So basically what I did is I reached out to the listing agents now and I said, hey, you know what? I'm a realtor. I am relocating from New York to Georgia. This is what I need y'all to do. Let him in to let him see the homes. I'm the one that's going to coordinate. I'm the one that's going to make the appointments. He's going to come, take a look, and then let me know where we go from there. And that's basically how we got it done. That's how we negotiated our move from New York to Georgia. Because I was just over it in the service. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to just do it. And mind you, it became very, very frustrating and tiring because now I'm looking for a home for myself and I'm looking for homes for my customers back in New York. I got on the plane a couple weekends, came down, look at some homes, go back. That's what we did for about 2 or 3 weekends. Made some offers. And then this was mid of May. We had to talk. I was like, yo, if we're going to do this, the math ain't mathing. We're gonna have to pay light, gas, mortgage, and all the other crap there, and then I gotta pay rent here, light, gas, and all the other stuff here too. Yeah, this ain't gonna work. I was like, the kids are still in remote learning. We could just move. So now we moved up our timeline from moving from June to I'm moving in 2 weeks. If we get this house and everything goes well, this was like around April 15th, somewhere around there. Now we're looking, I was like, yeah, if everything goes well, by May 15th, we're moving. That was our timeline. And y'all, when I tell you guys, I am so sorry to all my customers that I was just like, oh, we got a 30-day close. I know what it is to do a 30-day close, okay? To back them boxes and do, mind you, I'm doing it. I'm still working on my transactions. I'm packing. Still have to drop the kids to school. And, it was a lot. It was a lot. And then having to decide whether or not I'm going to put my car on the car train or whatever the hell they call it. It was a lot. But yeah, that's how we ended up in Georgia. And that's why Georgia, right? So we moved and we did it in 30 days. And I told the kids when they get on their Google Meets and do their class, do not tell your teachers that you moved. I don't need them to know anything. I notified the parent coordinator and who I needed to notify at the school. Everything went ahead as planned, and doctor's appointments and stuff, we just flew back and forth. And when it was time for my son to graduate, we flew up to New York and we graduated. And nobody was none the wiser. And that's how we moved from the Apple State to the Big Apple to the Big Peach. And that's why Georgia. And, that was our plan. That's how it worked. It didn't work how we wanted to, but that's how we moved rapidly in a 2 or 3 month time span. And by the time everybody turned around, they were like, what? Y'all moved? Yes, we moved. We moved like we were secret agents. In time flew. And now that I've gotten this story out there, I hope you guys understand the whole background of it all, and now you know the history. And it was crazy, and me having to go back and forth and still close out the deals that I had going on. I was literally back in New York every month for the first year, every month. And because I was going back and forth every month, I hated Georgia. Oh my God, I complained for everything. Yo, we New Yorkers, the reason why they don't like us here in the South is because we talk about everything that we don't like. I had to get accustomed to the fact that there is no 24-hour stores. Okay? And if yours 24-hour stores, you in the hood. Because I remember one Sunday, in true Sharice fashion, I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted to cook dinner. And we Ubered like a couple nights before, and that Uber Eats bill was $50, and I was like, oh hell no, I ain't never paid $50 on Uber Eats bill unless it was Ruth Chris in New York. So why the hell am I paying $50 when Olive Garden is right up the street? So last minute I decided to go to the grocery store, and I found a West Indian grocery store, and they were closed at 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and I threw a tantrum. And I called my husband. I was like, I can't believe this. Really? They ain't trying. Yo, I went off like a real New York. I was like, they ain't trying to make no money. They don't know nothing. Whew. That adjustment period, that culture shock. Guys, when I say culture shock, it was crazy. Crazy. Because for the life of me, I cannot understand why stores got to close at 6 o'clock. Okay? And why the restaurants close at a certain time. Now, being here for about 2 years now, a lot of things have changed. Or maybe I've gotten accustomed to some things. But I'm going to start giving y'all like the changes that I started to go through being here and giving myself time and grace. But, why Georgia? That's why Georgia. Now you guys understand. And thank you so much for tuning in to Apples Grow in the South. I see y'all next time. Drop me a like. Let me know what you think. And y'all feel free to drop me some questions when you guys listen. And I'll be happy to do a Q&A. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Deuces.